So I've been noticing how critical it is to be super focused on the company's problem. Not talk about the experience I had, but the experience they want to talk about.
Mm.
Where would I put, for instance, right now when I'm reviewing myself, I put like the job post in so that my Claude has a little bit more context. Where would you suggest that I put in some of the information that as I go through interviews, I hear things and I go, oh, I got to remember the hiring manager said this was his. Oh yeah, the recruiter said this. Where would you suggest I put that into your project?
Yeah. So I think I would alter the setup a little bit. Is I would probably create a project almost per company, and I would load in the job posting that you applied for, and then you could load this as an additional set of instructions within that if you wanted to, or you could just add it as a document that you could reference, and you can tell it to like, okay, read this, and then we're going to process the interview at this point. But that way, you could load in the job postings, and I would probably start with based on the job description and doing research on the company. Either have Claude go out and do the research, which it can do. Don't do that on the free plan. It will use up a ton of your time because it's going out and doing web searches, and the tool use gets pretty expensive. But if you're on a paid plan, you'll have a bit more flexibility, and have it do some of the research of like future opportunities in this space. And the more that you can narrow that space down, the better response it'll get back. And those become reference information about what it is. And then I would maybe alter the prompt a little bit. Um, in terms of the prompt, when you're looking at, so if we look at the substance of the prompt, so pass one is just the kind of the structure of the questions. Mechanics are sort of yes and no. The answering the question, that's where you could potentially add make a change here. Did I answer it? Did this answer align with what the job posting is and the problems that the company has? That would be one place. The other would be in place four. You could have your focus area be, I want to focus on making sure that my answers are highly relevant to the areas that the company is going after, as provided by sort of like a reference document that you could say what these problems are or add those into that section. So that's where I would probably apply those, because I think then it would be able to pull those references and give you some meaningful substance, using whatever information you provide it. Is there a difference in how we utilize AI tools to prepare for an AI interview versus traditional human interviews? Interesting question. Um, Not necessarily. The AI interview bots are still looking for similar things. You can still approach it. The difference is that there's things that they don't really judge. So as far as I haven't seen any that are particularly good at judging some of the things that humans will judge. So that's really about the delivery of the story. That's the part that still is true universally. It's just that you're going to have a harder time winning over an AI by being really good at the first 2 minutes. So one of the things that VJ and I talk with people a lot about is the first 2 minutes of your interview with the person sets the tone and the likely outcome of things. Um, and the what we mean by that is that the psychology of an interview is that people make a lot of their decisions about whether you're a good fit for a role in the first 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And then they spend the rest of the interview looking for evidence that they're right because people don't like to be wrong. And it stinks that that's the case because you could struggle in that first 2 minutes. But getting that first 2 minutes nailed can make a big difference and sort of add the outcome of things. BJ, you found similar things, right?
100%. In fact, if you can pattern match and position yourself directly to the role within the first 30 seconds, you can see, and I've even had several clients say, they say, wow, their interviewer is like, wow, you're the unicorn. They've said those words out loud to them, and then through the rest of the interview, just continue to confirm their own initial judgment and bias, which is the exact position you want to be, versus them deciding, oh, this person is not a good fit, and then dismissing very valid cases where you might have been a good fit.
Yeah. I mean, I think what Sky was saying was is so accurate is that a lot of interviewers don't actually have any idea how to do this well. So I worked at Indeed for a while. I got to work with an amazing behavioral scientist. She taught me a ton about the practices of what makes a good interviewing practice. I was working in a product space where we were actually doing hiring for other companies. So we got to look at a lot of companies and their practices and try to build good practices for them. And so that's kind of where I fell in love with a lot of this process, because there are ways to do really good selection practices, but a lot of people don't know them. Now, if you can know some of those things, you can help them do that without them knowing. You can help them identify you as a great partner for these things. You can answer the questions they didn't even realize they asked, and then they just leave feeling like, wow, that was really good. This would be a great person. I'd love to work with them. They'd solve all my problems.